Happy Wednesday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Welcome, everybody, to the Road to Millions on August 30th. You're going to want to stick around. We are going to go over our fades of the day. Then we will update our Road to Millions, how we're doing this week, what plays we have up. And you're going to want to stick around for our sleeper player of the day. This should help you out with some player props. We got some really good, actionable information for everybody. All plays can be found on wagertalk.com. We're already up 4.5 units this week, so we're very happy with the U.S. Open plays. We cashed last night on Contender Series, and we've got some plays to look at here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the fades of the day. We've got a team and a player that we're looking to fade today. We'll go over the Road to Millions, and then we'll do the sleeper of the day. So, Steve, we will start with the team that we're looking to fade. And listen, I know, okay, the Chicago White Sox might be an obvious fade of the day, but our betting strategy is, most of you know, we are not really looking at what teams we think we're going to win. We're looking at teams that we think are going to lose. Sometimes it may be really good, popular teams. Sometimes it's the bad teams. White Sox are absolute fade material, and today we think they're a really good spot to fade. So let's talk the White Sox here. What do we know about them?
So they've been struggling recently. They're only 4-8 in their last 12 games. 7 of these losses have been by the run line. The Orioles have been dominating them in this series so far, 9-0, 9-3 victories. So Orioles covering the run line in both of the games so far in the series, and we get plus money on the Orioles run line today. Cease is a pitcher to fade right now. 8 earned runs allowed against Oakland in his last outing in only 4 1/3 innings. And he's just struggling with the walks, 5 walks in that game, which is the Orioles. If he walks 5 Orioles today, they're going to score 10 runs. And he's walked 19 guys this month in only 23 innings of work. So he's really struggling right now. Gibson was sharp in his last outing against Toronto, a good hitting team, only allowed 3 earned runs across a full 8 innings of work. You got to like the Orioles today against the White Sox.
Yeah, this was we got burned by the Orioles last week. So I don't know if we made a mistake by not taking them on the comeback here on the first couple games of this series, but man, they've just pounded the White Sox, and this is the time of year where you're looking at these teams that really don't have much to play for right now. I mean, the team might almost be hoping that they lose at this point, and it feels like that's what's happening with the White Sox right now. Not a lot of momentum or positivity coming out of that organization, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they were sellers, they weren't complete sellers at the deadline. But yeah, they're running into a freight train here too with the Orioles. It's amazing that you mentioned we got kind of screwed on the run lines with the Orioles there. Because they're 18-8 in August, and 15 of those 18 wins have been by the run line.
Yeah,
So
we
we
were on
took
the
the
other
bullet
side.
on 2 of them. Yeah. Um, yeah, we may have made a mistake by not fading the White Sox in this series against the Orioles and going right back to the Orioles, like you said.
Well, we're gonna try and not make that mistake. It's a day game, so make sure that you, if you're watching this in the morning, if you are gonna pick this game as one to add to your portfolio today, make sure you get this one in. But yeah, the White Sox. This seems like a perfect time to fade them. So may seem a little bit obvious that we're fading a bad team, but we just want to make sure that we pick the right spots to fade the bad team. Sometimes they get good matchups. Hey, Dylan Cease, man, beginning of the year. This guy was this guy was on fire. We were taking overs on his strikeout props. It was like, oh, you don't want to bet against the White Sox when Dylan Cease is pitching, and now it's completely flipped.
Yeah, 100%. Cease, like you said, he was a pitcher that you bought on early in the year, and that was the one time when you didn't want to go up against the White Sox was when he was on the mound. But if he gives up these free passes to the Orioles today, they're gonna make him pay for it.
So that's going to be our team fade of the day, the Chicago White Sox, and we have a player that we're going to fade today, and we're going to fade him even though he's been on fire. We're talking Carlos Santana. And we're talking about his hits, RBIs, and runs prop here. He's gone over in 8 straight games. This is by far his best streak of the season in this category. And Steve, these streaks, like, come on, this isn't sustainable. He's batting 221 against righties. Like, this is a fade today.
Yeah, he's not a player that hits for average either. He's a guy that relies a lot on his power. He's 3 for 11 against Hendricks, which it's the 273 average, so it's not the worst, but he has no home runs against him. And the big thing here, the wind blowing in at Wrigley today, double digit wind, I think 16, 17 miles per hour. So when the wind's blowing in at Wrigley, it's gonna be hard for him to hit a home run today, and that's what he relies on a lot. So yeah, he's not hitting well against righties either. So he's a fade today for sure.
Yeah, 8 games going over this hits, runs, RBIs. I mean, so a lot of times we don't want to go against these hot streaks, but it's when you're talking guys like Mookie Betts. And I know Bryce Harper's on a really nice run in those. So these batters that you're like, well, he hits for power, he hits for average, but Carlos Santana is not an average, not a guy that hits for average. And to go over this for eight straight games, not going to last for very much longer. This is his best streak of the season. So we'll be looking to fade Carlos Santana on the hits, RBIs, and runs streak. So we want to talk a little bit about the betting lab, and we just want to go over some notes. We don't have a ton, but we do have to talk about the Angels, a historic move. I mean, what I don't know what their plan is or what they're doing. I think most people are a little mystified by this, but let's talk it out. They cut 1/5 of their roster. They're completely decimated in the pitching staff. So, what do we make of the Angels, Steve, and what do we do moving forward with them?
This is them waving the white flag right here. Trout's on the injured list, and they cut players that they just traded for. Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, and Grichuk all just came to the team before at the deadline, and then they went 7-18 since they're 7-18 since the deadline.
Oops.
So they also cut Moore, Hunter Renfro. So this is a big salary dump. They're going to get rid of this salary. The teams that acquire these players will be responsible for the remainder of their salary through this season. Most of these players, will be free agents going into next year. And the way it works is it goes inverse order of the standings. So we get Oakland gets first swing at these players, and we go through the teams through there. Yeah, it's basically an historic cut. It's the biggest salary dump at the waiver deadline in the history of the majors, basically.
That's crazy. So, I mean, most of these bad teams are not going to want to go pick up these guys, I would guess. So, like, you're probably looking at some of these teams fighting for wild cards or, playoff teams. Like, some of these guys, I think, are going to get picked up. These are pretty good players that can probably help wild card or playoff teams, right?
Yeah, these are definitely players. Giolito, he was a player that teams were looking at to improve their roster, and they were going to trade players for him at the deadline. Trade players for Grichuk. A piece like even Lopez in the bullpen. Teams are looking for bullpen depth right now. That down the stretch, like you said, for the wild card or even the contenders are looking to add a piece, and this is a great spot to do it where you don't have to give anything up other than the cash.
Yeah, I mean, once playoff hits, bullpen guys are just their value goes through the roof. So I imagine some of these bullpen guys are gonna. I don't know if they're gonna help. I don't know. I don't know how we bet on teams that pick up some of these players. I doubt there's much value in that. But boy, the Angels. I don't know. How do we bet against the Angels? Like, does it change? Does it change a whole lot or team totals over? I know they got shelled last night.
Yeah, I mean, we were discussing fading them prior to this. You know what I mean? So I think that we could start looking at just an outright fade. I mean, whether it be the run line or
Yeah, not
or
really
whether
fake it.
yeah, that could be the way to go against them from here on out. There, I mean, if I was Otani at this point, I'd be looking to get this surgery because Trout. If it wasn't enough that Trout went on the injured list, about a week ago or whatever it was, a week and a half ago. Now all of these players, leaving the team, it's a clear salary dump, and it's a clear cut signal that they're giving up on the season.
Yeah, I had a couple notes from last night. Jared Smith, who I've actually done a few videos with. If you don't follow him on Twitter, follow him. He loves the no run first inning, yes run first inning bet. I don't know
Yep.
if you saw. So the Cubs and Brewers last night, they score 1 run in the first inning. Guy gets hit by a pitch, and then like a couple hits, and he scores. End of the game, final score 1-0. He had the no run first inning.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man, that's rough.
It's brutal.
That's rough.
It was brutal. So I saw him tweeting about it, and he was like, "Guy gets hit by a pitch, and they score 1 run, so we lose that bet." And then like in the 5th inning, he's like, "It's gonna be 1-0, isn't it?" And then sure enough, yep, ends 1-0. So that was brutal. And then pour one out for people that had the Braves team total over 15 hits. They score 3 runs.
In Colorado too.
I don't mean to laugh at people that lost that one, but every inning, every player had a hit. Every player for the Braves had a hit, at least one, most of them 2, and they scored 3 runs. Unbelievable.
In Colorado too. You think that the Braves in Colorado today, you might want to look their way today. I think the total in the game today is 13.5 because it's supposed to be about 90 degrees. It's like perfect conditions in Colorado today for hitting. So
yeah,
I mean, maybe it's not about to take their team total actually because it's through the roof now.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was looking at that trying to wrap my head around. How do you not accidentally fall into 5 runs in that situation? Like just accidentally. So
I love it. I love the one before that though. I mean, just to have the 1 run in the first inning and lose your bet and then sit there and watch just goose egg after goose egg through the rest of the game.
That's so bad. So all right, guys, let's talk a little Road to Millions, and make sure you stick around. We're going to do our sleeper player. Give us a like while you're watching this, please. It helps our algorithm. And give us a comment. Tell us what you think about the fate of the day. If you agree with the White Sox, tell us what your best bets are. We're having a really good week betting-wise, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Road to Millions here. All of our plays are up at WagerTalk.com. Promo code is still active. Andy30 gets a 30-day pass for $159. Just continue to have a really good August and continue to have a really good year. Really proud of all the work that we put in, and we're already up 4.5 units here. And if you're new to watching us, first off, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything, please leave it in the comments below. If you don't know what the Road to Millions is, it is our program to help you increase your bankroll exponentially over a period of several years using the plays that we ourselves use for our own bankrolls. So we bet all of our plays, everything that you get at WagerTalk.com, we bet. So when you get our plays, every single one of them we play. We use wagers and markets. The books aren't dialed in with their numbers. We look at our bankrolls like a stock portfolio, and we look at our wagers like investing in stocks, but with better returns. Stock market is up. I got to update that. It's down a little bit. So we just believe our returns are going to be much, much better, and invite you to join us. We do these videos Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and we track our bankroll and track our units, and welcome you to join us. And the rules that we follow, our number one goal is to make 3% per week. We make sure we never chase losses, no drunk or sick betting, and we do not pull money out of the bankroll. So that sums up the Road to Millions. So last night, Steve, man, I was hoping to come on and yay, we cashed another baseball play. Baseball's been really good. They pull our pitcher, dang it. So nothing to talk about baseball wise.
Oh, but I'm proud though that they pulled our pitcher, and we had about an hour and a half where we could have put the play in, and we decided not to based on the pitching change. I mean, they didn't really adjust the price too much. It was about an 8-cent adjustment on a pitcher with an ERA double of the pitcher starting. But we avoided it, and Oakland ends up winning that game 3-1. A frustrating game for Seattle where they couldn't score any runs. Ty France got hurt in the game. So yeah, they barely could score any runs. They pushed one across late, but that was it. So
that was the other weird thing was the pitching change, but their bats were ice cold last night. So we may have dodged a pretty big bullet there. Like, okay, we didn't bet on the Mariners when they happened to go ice cold. Got to believe their bats will probably return. So
what I think I'm sorry, but they benched Julio Rodriguez. He's not hurt. They just gave him He's got a little tweak, nothing major, but he is the spark plug for that
Hmm.
lineup. Without him in the lineup, I think they were really missing something there, obviously. But it was something that they just couldn't get. They couldn't overcome it.
Yeah. Corbin's tennis plays have been very good. He's already up 4.5 units through day 2. Those plays are up. And what plays do we have up right now available on Wager Talk? Our play of the day is up 111 and 78 run. We're just having a really, really nice baseball season. So UFC pack is up. I bring that up because we cashed our Dana White contender series. So going back to last week, this is a 4-0 UFC run. So we've got 2 plays that are up in the UFC. And for all access clients, those of you that have month passes or year passes, U.S. Open tennis plays for today on Tuesday are up. That tournament starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Don't be surprised if there's a rain delay in the middle of the day. They're supposed to get some rain and some thunderstorms. It doesn't look like it's going to be all day. It's just going to be some pop-ups here or there. So don't be surprised if we get some rain delays. But those plays are up. We are up 4.5 units, and I love where we're at. Love the U.S. Open tennis plays. Baseball, we feel pretty good in, and we already have those UFC plays up. So Road to Millions for this week is off to a great start, and we're looking forward to a really solid bankroll reset day on Monday. And then welcome everyone to NFL season. It's officially here.
Yeah,
So,
can't
so
wait.
everybody's really excited about that. All right, guys, let us get to our sleeper of the day. This is player or team that may be flying under the radar. We want to bring a little attention to. And we're talking about Mitch Garver from the Texas Rangers. Certainly not somebody that I would have gravitated towards for player props, but he's a sleeper of the day. What do we like about him, Steve?
So we're looking HRR and maybe a home run prop here. He's cleared 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs in his last 4 games. He's hit a home run in 4 of his last 6 games, and this includes hitting a home run last night. For whatever reason it is, he just beats up on the Mets.
Who
He's
doesn't,
12 for
Steve? Who doesn't
well,
beat
yeah.
up on them? Their own fans beat up on them.
Yeah, right. right. He's 12 for 24 against the Mets with 5 home runs in his career, and like I said, he got one against them last night. Um, he's on fire. 317 in August with 8 home runs, and he's facing a very vulnerable starter tonight in Denji Reyes, who is making a spot start for a player that got cut to waivers. Carlos Carrasco was another player cut. He was cut by the Mets yesterday, so Reyes makes the spot start. And he made his first start since May last week, and he got beat up 5 earned runs on 8 hits and only 4 1/3 innings against the Braves. So we have a very vulnerable starter here that wasn't even expecting to start against a hot hitter, and he's been clubbing the Mets. So let's go with Garver. I'd look his way. His HRR is -130. I'd look towards the over there. Got a home run prop. The line's telling you everything here with the home run prop. I mean, Marcus Semien has a lower number on his home run prop than Garver today. Garver plus 285 on the home run. I would look his way on either one of those.
Nice. So Mitch Garver, sleeper of the day, if you're looking to add some extra bets to your portfolio. So just a quick little recap. Our team that we are fading, the fade of the day is the Chicago White Sox. Player we're looking to fade is Carlos Santana, coming off of an 8-game streak of going over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Guy, it's not very good against righties, not very good against Hendricks, and the wind is blowing in. So we're looking to fade him. And then our sleeper of the day is Mitch Garver. Once again, guys, all of our plays can be found at WagerTalk.com. MLB play is up. UFC pack is up. And if you have our tennis pack or you're an all-access client, make sure you check out all of those U.S. Open tennis plays. Promo code Andy30 gets 30 days of 159. Go ahead and use that. I'm sure this promo code is going to be taken down once September starts. So you only got a day or so. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us on the Road to Millions. Leave us a comment, hit the like and subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys. Good luck on all your bets, and we will see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.